This is Mac OS Ken.
Wedbush wants to tamp down the freakout, a serious shout-out for the Maryland Apple Store Union, and news of various realities. It is Tuesday, the 21st of June, 2022. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macosken. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macosken. Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives has a message for investors selling tech stocks down to the ground. Would you stop it already? Apple 3.0 ran part of a note he wrote Monday, wherein the analyst argued that tech stocks have overcorrected and that a mild recession is already baked in at their current levels. Not that he doesn't get it. Quoting his note, in what has been an absolutely brutal year for the market and especially tech stocks, the path of least resistance for investors is to stay away from any risk assets till the dark economic storm clouds clear. We clearly could be looking at a very volatile few months still ahead as the street tries to get a gauge if inflation has started to finally peak and what type of recession now likely lies ahead into 2023. While consumer-facing tech and work-from-home poster childs are seeing clear softening and demand starting to dry up in the field, especially around digital advertising. On the other hand, enterprise cloud, cybersecurity, and high-priority pockets of IT budgets are holding up particularly well based on our recent checks. Where does that leave Apple? In a kind of special Apple place. Tech's going in two directions in his estimation. E-commerce and digital ad plays could take continued beatings, with fears around soft second quarter results around the corner. Meanwhile, the strong side of tech will be driven higher by software, semiconductors, cybersecurity, and product-driven names, Apple, as part of this digital transformation. Quoting the analyst again, our view in a nutshell is that tech stocks have overcorrected, and especially cloud, cyber names are way oversold at current levels for investors willing to own these names on the other side of this storm into 2023. Apple shares remain a top pick for Wedbush, along with Microsoft and Salesforce. The firm's price target on Apple shares stays at $200. Employees at Apple Towson Town Center got a message of support from down the road on Monday. Over the weekend, that store, just outside of Baltimore, Maryland, became the first Apple retail location in the U.S. to vote to unionize. The message of support came from about 60 miles down the road, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. MacRumor said U.S. President Joe Biden saying Monday morning that he was proud of the employees who had voted to unionize. The piece had the president telling reporters that workers have a right to determine under what condition they are going to work or not work. The president went on to say that everyone is better off, including the final product is better off, apparently referring to unionization. A crazy fragment of a sentence over the weekend from TF International analyst Ming-Chi. AirTag began a Twitter post from the analyst, which has not received much attention. And that to me is the crazy part. Between the difficulty getting them when they first came out and around the holidays, early concerns over kids swallowing AirTag batteries, and the raft of security stories tied to Apple's device tracker, how could he possibly say that AirTag has not received much attention? Then I realize he's talking about business, money, do-re-mi. On that side, he's probably correct, though he thinks that is likely to change. AirTag is small, both physically and from a business angle, but growing from a business angle, and it's likely big enough to get a second generation as the analyst sees it. By his reckoning, Ming-Chi says Apple shipped about 20 million AirTags last year and is on track to ship roughly 35 million through the end of 2022. If AirTag shipments continue to grow, the TF International analyst says, he believes Apple will develop the second generation. While the UK will not follow the EU down the one port to charge them all path, a few lawmakers say the US absolutely should. A couple of weeks ago, the European Union announced a deal to make USB-C the single charger type for smartphones and most other electronics sold across the region. The unified port plan is set to go into effect for small devices like phones, tablets, and e-readers by 2024, with bigger items like laptops getting a bit more time. Having Brexited, the UK doesn't have to do what the EU says, and said it will not in this case. But Apple Insider says a handful of U.S. senators have written to the U.S. Commerce Department urging this country along a similar path, if not necessarily the same path. Democratic Senators Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren, along with Independent Senator Bernie Sanders, have sent a letter to Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo urging an action similar to that taken by the EU for the U.S. The letter leans hard on environmental concerns, cost concerns, and petty annoyances tied to proprietary plugs for various vendors, as well as moves from one connection type to another. There's one thing the letter sort of misses, though. Quoting a small portion, "Innovation should benefit consumers. It should not come at their expense, saddle them with incompatible accessories, and compel them to purchase different charging equipment for each device they own." See, it seems likely that most companies would argue that changing connector types does come with benefits for consumers, from size to efficiency to functionality. I saw somebody ask a couple of years ago, what if laws like this had gone into effect when USB-A was what we had? While the concerns raised in the letter are real, the proposal may miss the intricacies of the working tech space. And that may be why the senators have not suggested a particular port. In contrast to the Europe strategy, says Apple Insider, the U.S. senators are not necessarily calling for USB-C to be the standard. Rather, the letter says, "We urge you to coordinate with offices and agencies across the Department of Commerce to develop a comprehensive plan that will protect both consumers and the environment by addressing the lack of a common U.S. charging standard." Would have been neat if they had also addressed the innovation part. iOS 16 may free you from CAPTCHA. You know that thing where you go to log into a site and to prove you're a human, you have to decipher squiggly text or click all the squares that picture traffic lights or bicycles? That's called CAPTCHA, and iOS 16 wants to free you from it. According to a piece from Mac Rumors, when enabled, Apple says iCloud will automatically and privately verify your device and Apple ID account in the background, eliminating the need for apps and websites to present you with a CAPTCHA verification prompt. When enabled, and that's got to be done from two sides. First, iOS, iPadOS, and macOS users will need to enable the bypass under Apple ID in Settings. Of course, it has to be enabled by websites and applications as well. Relying on private access tokens, the implementation isn't just about convenience. Mac Rumors says the new system will offer a better user experience for tasks such as signing into or creating an account, with improved user privacy and accessibility compared to CAPTCHAs. More news in a moment, but first a word from Notion, one workspace for your whole team. You know what might be worse than the telephone game? It's the smartphone game. I mean, okay, you've got all your stuff preserved, but is it in Slack or Teams? Is it in iMessage or email? Where the heck is it? For friends and family, that might be cool. For work, though, everybody needs to know where everything is. For you, that could be Notion. You don't have to learn a bunch of new stuff. Notion takes the tools you use and puts them all in one place, preventing the kind of miscommunication and silos that can prevent good work. Here's another great thing. Notion has a worldwide network of millions of users creating templates, tutorials, and new inspiration. They share what they've learned and how they work, so your work can be even better. With powerful integrations and seamless navigation, you'll have everything you need in one spot. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macOSKen. That's notion.com/macOSKen to help you take the first step toward an organized, happier team today. NOTION. That's notion.com/macOSKen. When speaking of Apple's AR, VR, MR plans, it's easy to get the products mixed up, especially because we don't even know if they're real. I mean, there's plenty of reason to believe, though nothing has been confirmed. With that in mind, rumor today about Apple's AR glasses, not to be confused with Apple's mixed reality headset. The latest rumor and speculation have Apple's mixed reality thing hugging our heads by this time next year. As for the augmented reality glasses, Haitong International Tech Research Analyst Jeff Pu is looking to look through those in late 2024. That is according to a research note he wrote, as seen by 9to5Mac. The site has the analyst indicating Apple AR Glass has entered the design development with a prototype to be ready by the end of this year and mass production in the second half of 2024. The lines between VR and AR get kind of blurry, hence the need for the whole MR thing. If you want an idea of where we're virtually headed, Facebook founder and meta-human Mark Zuckerberg seems to have teased some amazing technology on Monday. An article I read said they were talking about stuff that we won't fully see for about a decade, though the steps are being taken toward it. We're talking photorealistic presentations of participants in real time. It's like they're there, but they're not. Or will not be. VentureBeat has an in-depth article on the presentation. Engadget has a quicker take. Either seems likely to blow your mind. They also help to explain why we can't have whatever mixed reality thing Apple's eventually going to come up with 5 years ago already. Tantalizing, fascinating, and frustrating reads. News of a new series for Apple TV+. The Cupertino streamer issued a press release Monday announcing an 8-episode order for Criminal Record. According to the release, Criminal Record is a powerful, character-driven thriller set in the heart of contemporary London. An anonymous phone call draws two brilliant detectives into a confrontation over an old murder case. One, a young woman in the early stages of her career. The other, a well-connected man, determined to protect his legacy. The young woman will be played by Cush Jumbo, who you may know from the series The Good Wife and its spin-off series The Good Fight. The well-connected man will be played by Peter Capaldi, known for Doctor Who, The Thick of It, The Hour, The Suicide Squad, and the list goes on. The release says the series touches on issues of race, institutional failure, and the quest to find common ground in a polarized Britain. No word on a premiere date. I got an email toward the end of the week last week that sort of slipped through the cracks. Ken, it begins, as so many emails to me do. This 74-year-old grandmother who has loved her Mac since 1986, and your show every morning it runs, is ecstatic that Apple is streaming Major League Soccer. Yes, yes, yes. What a model for sports fans to finally be able to follow their teams without blackouts for one. Plus, for another, we won't have to chase around looking for who is carrying what this month. I hope this turns out as well for Apple as it looks like it's doing for the fans. So says Jerry. I am so excited about how excited Jerry is, and curious to see how it goes. For Apple, for Major League Soccer, and for the fans. Thank you for the email, Jerry. You rock. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Notion, one workspace for your whole team. Learn more and get started for free at notion.com/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.